Okay. Movement WD. And then L. Oh, Z. Okay, that works. Oh no, I'm running out of ammo. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Aliens have invaded from underground. Lucky we have just the thing to defeat them. Quantum weapon technology. Wait for the shift meter to fill. Then shift. LCY. If you use a weapon for too long, the quantum stops working. Shift right away to get a new weapon. I should probably switch to an actual gamepad here, seeing that it's recommending that. Alright, there we go. Am I just supposed to go Geronimo? Okay.
Whoa. Leap of faith, generally not so good.
Huh?
It's not such a good thing to put in. Just a blind leap of faith like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
Is it? Oh, it is damage.
Oh. Wow, you have a long recoil time.
That gun is so big. What's this one called?
Weapon shifters. I like the art.
Yeah. Oh.
The scrolling is a little nauseating, yeah.
It's like you're up, you're down.
How do you feel about the art in this tower?
Not great.
I don't know. I feel like it's in its style. Oh, your weapons overheat if you don't shift.
What about them is not great?
A lot of the characters are not exactly represented, or not very well represented.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I can barely make out that this character is that character wearing a hat, or is that character is that what their hair looks like? You know, where are its arms? Okay, you can kind of see it bop it up and
The
down.
arms are behind the gun.
I feel like whenever we have our Game Club podcast, we talk about how much we have, you know, graphics issues. Robert and I, and you, between you, Robert, and I.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
That was the right thing to do.
Oh, you can't more than 6 lines.
Oh,
Where'd that come from?
No.
Face hugger.
Head crab.
Head crab. Same thing.
Face sucker head crab. Wait.
I'm
so,
not sure adding this ducking was a good idea.
So like it scrolls
Why
sometimes.
not? You duck
Because it
under
makes the
that-
game really, really easy.
What?
Yeah, you just duck and then
You
you can't
duck.
hit it. Look at that.
I mean, like, you could shoot and duck at the
Okay.
same time.
You made a smart decision by ducking.
But the problem is that it also does not. It also reduces the challenge significantly, except for head crabs.
Oh, you got hit there when you were ducking. Yeah, that's
You
different.
know what? Head crabs.
Different enemies doing different things, right?
The thing
Do you think they
is,
should take ducking out of Contra? I don't.
I haven't played Contra.
No, Contra is enough of a bullet hell. But I see it's like most of the enemies here, because like they purposely shoot like above your head so you can just. Oh no.
What was that?
What? I guess like came off screen. It was like.
Did it? Yeah, it reflected or
Oh.
something. They don't normally harm you, do that? No. I don't think so. Maybe it was some weird thing where they went off screen and came back and started acting like enemy
So,
bullets.
so what happens if you don't shift? Oh, the enemies can follow you. Wow.
I have no idea what happens if you just.
So you have to shift before that meter runs out?
I have no idea. We're gonna find out. Looks like yes.
Or what happens? Could you not use the gun?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can just like face the wall and bounce the bullets back towards the enemies.
So that's
Yeah, you can't use the gun anymore.
okay.
What? That no. I refuse to accept that.
You should have ducked. That's like the fireballs from Bowser coming off screen. Looks like Mankey when they jump.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Mankey.
It's like,
Mankey? You mean the game developer?
No, the Pokemon
Oh.
fighting
Oh.
type.
Reflector.
And the teleporter. I am not going to memorize this pattern really well.
This game's single player only because it seems like it'd be fun co-op.
Yeah.
Like Contra.
Yeah.
Just you and your buddy ducking together.
Yeah.
oh man, it's not looking good.
This is
You gotta jump. Get ready for the jump. Oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Get out of there.
One more hit. Oh.
Oh, there's checkpoints. That's nice. Oh, so you can just spam the reflection.
Whoa.
Huh. This reflects off the wall. They kill him faster.
Shoot it the other way.
Oh, but I wonder if they like double. Oh. Wait, so if they bounce off the wall again, will they hurt him? Or is it still going to be the old bullet?
When he reflects it, it hurt him, that's for sure. When the boss reflected it.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurt him when he shot it against the wall.
I'm just gonna focus on dodging for a little while.
I hope it did.
Okay, so one thing I actually do like is that the weapons changes all the time, and it constantly forces you to reevaluate your situation, which I'm a fan of. Evolving gameplay is something I always like. Okay, I don't want to shoot with this.
If you jumped and shot with it,
Oh.
because it shoots like an egg.
Oh, so you can go over his shields. Don't worry about that. Oh no. This boss, like, it seems like his health is kind of high.
Sometimes I'm not sure I understand why the bullets were reflecting sometimes. Like that reflector wasn't present. I don't understand why they're
Oh, okay.
Why are they doing that?
The boss was like glowing or something.
I feel like I've seen them bounce off other enemies too. I feel like. Remember that article?
Oh, so he glows just before he moves again, like now. Nope. Or does anyone act?
Yeah, I remember. Ooh,
Oh.
devastating.
Okay, he hit me. I accept that.
Oh.
Oh, okay, whoops. I totally did not see that. That was on me.
You shoot
I
those?
saw that coming.
You shoot those things? Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, I just realized that boss started anti-shifting.
Can't walk through.
Oh, ouch.
Oh. Almost there.
Got him.
Oh.
We sent the alien scum straight to alien.
Hell.
Game over, man.
Straight to alien hell.
Heck. Weapon shifters. Okay. So the environment art I actually kind of like more than the character art, in my personal opinion. It's hard to make out what the characters are properly, I would argue. So
What do
my
you think that is up top there?
could be a gray, could also just be a skull. It looks like a skull to me, actually, from a distance.
Well, you sent those aliens straight to alien hell. So probably an alien.
Yes, but I was told that,
Okay.
right? If I were to not know that, what would my impression be? And it could be ghost, it could be skeletons.
Ghost. I don't see a ghost.
It doesn't look like, there's nothing there that tells me it is distinctly an alien.
What about that laser pistol? Skeletons don't use laser pistols. They use swords and shields. Or throw their bones. They throw a bone in an arc above their head.
Have you not seen any like heavy metal where they have guns?
Heavy metal.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Regardless, to me, it just doesn't feel.
What do you mean, Eddie? Eddie's not a skeleton. He's like a zombie or something.
You know, that actually looks like a zombie too.
No.
So, as an example, the borders that you've created around what is like a cliff, what is like a floor, and that kind of stuff, I think that's like really nice. The little decoration up you have here, where like the little sewer color thing, I think those are like really nice and important touches. But then you have this kind of like plastered background I'm not exactly a fan of. The enemy design I'm not exactly a fan of. This health bar not being like indicated as icons while not telling me what my maximum health is in my opinion a small tiny negative. It's not going to affect my score as it is, but I'm not exactly a fan, or I'm not exactly thinking that this is going to get the best graphic score on my book. Which is why I rate it a 3.
Well, why do you feel it'd be better to know your max?
Oh, Rango Wrath says there is no maximum health, so there we go. I stand corrected.
Why do you feel it? Why do you feel like it would be better to know your maximum health?
Because it keeps you from collecting power-ups. Collecting a power, let's say like you want to collect a health power-up, then anytime you want to make sure that health power-up becomes useful in some fashion or form. If you're gathering it and you're already at max health, that makes you feel like it was a complete waste.
Yeah.
So that's why you want those kind of information up on there, because it's actually a very important choice to make when you're actually collecting health power-ups. So let's actually start on the rating portion of things. Innovation. Actually, I'm willing to give this a 2. The reason why is because you require changing the weapons on a constant basis, and in this case, forced basis as well. And there wasn't, in my personal opinion, a good variety of what the weapons did. There was like rapid fire, which to me seemed like they did the same amount of damage as normal single fire. There's a joke weapon that you throw in every once in a while. There's the wall reflecting one, which I really like. There's the one that S-snakes. I'm kind of surprised you didn't pull in any spread gun in there. But anything like that, like I like the fact that this game constantly required me to reevaluate my strategy every time I had to switch my weapon. And personally, like, it's not exactly the most innovative kind of thing, but to be always forced to change your weapon at all times in this specific fashion is not something I commonly see. I thought it was decently fun, about average. A lot of my personal issues, I think there was a little bit of feedback when I actually shot an enemy, but I would have liked to make that a little more obvious and definitely make it feel like there was a lot more oomph to it. Sometimes some bullet patterns with that final boss I thought was unfair, but for the most part I thought the ducking was overpowered. In a way, I feel like ducking would make more sense when it is juggled with something where you have to do a lot of jumping. And to be fair, in a lot of places, you've also made it so that, you know, those head crabs just kind of drop you out of nowhere, which that in and of itself I'm not exactly a fan of. But the fact that you added it in specific situations where it would have forced me to really switch up my strategy on ducking all the time, I do admit made for made up for how overpowered the ducking aspect was. But for the most part, I just didn't think that. I think the inclusion of that kind of did not make my
Well, what about
experience better.
during the boss fight? Because you couldn't duck under all of the boss's attacks.
Right, exactly. I think that was good design. I don't think the previous level was well designed in that aspect. So my complaint has more to do with the fact that the ducking is overpowered. Not necessarily that the ducking itself is bad, but that the enemy configuration, as well as the bullet patterns, made the game too easy. And personally speaking, I feel like the lack of ducking kind of would have helped. Because the way those enemies shot, it seemed like you could just jump over them individually. They didn't rapid fire in a way that required me to duck down. So in that sense, like I would have just preferred it if you didn't have any ducking at all. Now, like I said, to be fair, I understand they added in those head crabs to make up for that, and I'll be honest, that was actually pretty effective.
So an enemy with an attack where, I don't know, like 5 or 6 rapid fire bullets, where if you tried to jump over them, you'd get hit. You think that would be a good addition to really take advantage of ducking?
Yes. So if one of those aliens that kind of stood waist high and only shot up to basically wherever your shoulders are.
Yeah.
If they had a rapid fire that would shoot like 3 or 5 bullets at a time, something where clearly you're not supposed to be jumping over, then ducking would become useful.
Okay.
Because you're giving me a reason to use duck over jump. Although remember, my issue was like you can shoot and duck at the same time, and generally speaking, ducking just made it easy to dodge pretty much everything. So if the same enemy configuration, so if the same enemy also shot down to your legs, but like it's just 1 or 2 every once in a while that you can jump over.
Did you ever duck to shoot at the?
Neither bad nor I find it memorable.
Yeah, so, like,
Right.
Was there actually a soundtrack?
There was actually music going on.
Oh, that's
Humor, 2 stars. Probably that was because of me and Anthony.
What? Why?
Mood. We had a very fun interaction playing this game.
What do you mean? Why does that have? What does that have to do with me and you?
We had a fun time interacting in this game.
No, I mean the humor.
Some parts, like I guess I found it more funny than I should have, but regardless, I'm gonna stick with that rating. Mood. Actually, I did like the mood a lot. The graphics kind of goes. Humor. 2 stars. Probably that was because of me and Anthony.
What? Why?
Mood. We had a very fun interaction playing this game.
What do you mean? Why does that have? What does that have to do with me and you?
We had a fun time interacting in this game.
No, I mean the humor.
Some parts, like I guess I found it more funny than I should have, but regardless, I'm gonna stick with that rating. Mood. Actually, I did like the mood a lot. The graphics kind of goes to this dreary, disappointing location, and I don't know. To me, like the camera shifting in a way sometimes helped, sometimes didn't. Where it helped was it would set kind of like the you don't know what's coming up next kind of aspect. It adds a little bit of thrill and mystery to what you want, what you're going to see next. But at the same time, like there was blind jumps, which I was not a fan of. There was the fact that enemies can shoot at you from off the screen for some reason.
Bowser could do that. Not that I'm defending it. I'm just saying Bowser could do it.
I was not a fan of that.
Alright.
Specifically, the one with Bowser works because he does it from a very long distance. You can see it coming
Just
from the
very
right side of the
slow.
screen. Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas in my case, I was so close to the left of the screen and suddenly bullets started flying
Could
at
you
me
hear
from the
them?
left side.
Hear it being shot?
No.
Okay.
So I
Bowser's you could hear, you heard the flame.
actually. Excuse me. So overall, it's a 3. The screen shifting was erratic and weird. It didn't help that it made for a few leap of faiths which aren't what's the word I'm looking for, which I'm not a fan of. I like the constant weapon changing. Certainly appreciate the need to reevaluate your situation. I think the ducking is somewhat poorly integrated, as it makes your character overpowered in the grand majority of the situation, grand majority of the game. The enemies themselves the most dangerous enemies often can't shoot you while you're ducking.
Maybe a train level where you're on top of the train and you have to jump or duck under like signposts and stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or like tons of bats come flying out of a cave and there's just too many to shoot, so you have to duck underneath them.
Would have also liked some more feedback on whether an enemy was shot or not.
Continuous laser beam. You have to duck under.
Oh, I forgot to mention that
Or
one last thing. The being
collapsing ceiling that stops just.
the being shot wind up time is too long. I did. Make the stun duration shorter, please.